highlight an unusual event. Normally, we do have severe weather around, but maybe once or twice in a year do you get a high risk of severe weather. What that basically means is that there is a significant chance of damaging winds and long track violent tornadoes today. So I thought maybe we could look a little bit and just see why are we talking about this. So I want to start aloft and work our way down. So at 300 millibars, we have a tremendous jet, a very jet streak, literally coming across the western part of Oklahoma, then through New Mexico and Arizona. 110 knots of wind there. The yellow is divergence. You can see some very good divergence in different areas here. We have another jet streak exiting, and we have divergence here. It's an unusual time, but every once in a while you get what they call two jet streaks literally coupling. So one streak is to the south, producing divergence, and one streak is to the north, producing divergence on its right rear quadrant. And when they combine, you get much, much better divergence aloft. So what you're doing is enhancing the development of the low, and you're allowing very strong convergence of wind and very, very strong upward motion in that case. Now, when you look below that, we see 850 millibars. We can see the circulation right here. And notice out ahead of it, all these winds coming off the Gulf of Mexico and feeding up into the Mississippi Valley. You have the green literally indicates a very moist tropical air mass moving into that area. So with that, now that we have those two features in place, we can look at, this is the surface pressure pattern right now. Just a quick look at it tells me there's probably, you can see the lines, pressure lines dipping. There's a cold front dipping down through here somewhere. Probably a warm front up in here. And another one maybe down in here even. But notice the pressure. 992 millibars. That, for a Midwestern, is a very strong extratropical cyclone. So with that, I wanted to look at other things going on in this area. The area we're focusing on is right in here. So let's take a look at a couple things going on right there. We can get all kind of crazy information out of the Storm Prediction Center. I'm going to keep it relatively straightforward, I hope. One of the areas we want to look at, we talk about convergence. Well, where moisture is converging, there's a better chance of thunderstorms developing. So surface moisture convergence is not real strong yet. There's some right here in the western part of Missouri and down in through it. A little bit up across the north here, which is probably along the warm front. You can see the winds northeast here, southerly here. So there's convergence along that line as well. So thermodynamics. This is where we get into stability. CAPE is just simply a measure of instability. The larger the number, the more unstable. Typically, in the summertime, you can get CAPEs to 1,000, maybe 2,000 feet when you're going to 2,000 when you're going to have thunderstorms. Once in a while, and this isn't even the maximum of the day, we're already over 3,000 in Iowa, 3,000 in Missouri. So, and on down. And here's another 3,000 coming out of Texas in this area. These CAPEs will continue to rise. What this means is this is a very unstable atmosphere. We know that atmospheres that are unstable tend to accelerate air parcels up. We just saw we have very good divergence aloft, so there's nothing stopping it from going up. We have plenty of moisture feeding in, as you can see here. All these factors are coming into play to say, oh, there is tremendous lift going to be occurring along this line of thunderstorms that are developing out in here. With that, then, if we have lift and thunderstorms, what type of thunderstorms are we talking about? Well, wind shear is a idea. It's a change in wind with height, and we want to look at wind shear. This is the wind shear pattern for today. So I'm looking for wind shears greater than 50 knots if I'm interested in severe weather. And if I'm interested in tornadoes, maybe even a little above that. Sometimes 45 knots can even do it. But look at this. In this area, we have literally 70 knots of wind shear here. 65 knots here. All this area has wind shears that are ridiculous. So all this is leading to some potential for some extreme thunderstorms later today. Thunderstorms that will be rotating and thunderstorms that will probably be producing extremely heavy rain and damaging winds. Initially, the thunderstorms probably would develop into individual thunderstorms. You can see them here already, looking at them. Individual thunderstorms tend to be supercellular. As they grow and progress through the evening, they're going to begin to merge together, and then they may form more in terms of bow echoes. With that, you may have extreme thunderstorms. Wind damage, bow echoes can, northern part of the bow echo and the southern part of the bow echo tend to have some possibilities for tornadoes as well. So all of this is going together to bring very heavy potential for severe weather across the Mississippi Valley and on eastward, probably to the western end of Ohio, central Kentucky, before it ends out late tonight, early on Saturday morning. So as you can see, this is an amazingly dangerous situation that's going on in the Midwest. And this is just applying what you're learning from this course to look at this and be able to see this kind of interesting thing. Interestingly, there's a composite index. Now, if you have all this wonderful information, we like to put it together to see where we might expect significant supercells. The index typically is not real high. And already we're over 12 down here, which is a very high number. Potential for severe weather is very high in that area with that. Another thing, we look at significant tornadoes. And you can see here, their numbers already up over 4 across Missouri in this area. And with these thunderstorms moving into that area, you would expect those to intensify rapidly. So we may wind up with very heavy rain, thunderstorms in that area with extreme potential for tornadoes developing along track. So this is something that really we can relate to what you're learning in your course and show you an example of how it can be applied. So hope you get a little bit out of this. And always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.